Episode 238 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded May 29th, 2019. Laughter. We're talking funny shows this week, guys.
Funny,
haha, funny, odd, funny, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
We're covering the gamut.
It's funny because when you said laughter in the intro, I heard the Law and Order cha-chung right afterwards.
Laughter,
cha-chung. It's like, oh no, what are we getting ourselves into?
In the New York City Clown School, there are two types of clowns. Those who induce laughter and those that induce terror. These are their stories.
Happy clowns and sad clowns.
Those who squeak and those who are squeaked.
Honk, honk.
Honk, honk.
We are the TV Dudes. I'm Randy.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
And so this week, Grant is not here. He is feeling a little under the weather. Something to do with clowns.
Yep.
It's allergies, man. They get you down here.
They do. Yeah. We're recording from beautiful sunny Austin, Texas. And
allergy capital of the world.
It's a little, there's a bit of pollen, dust, weed in the air.
Yeah, a little bit of that. I've never gotten a full flu from allergies until moving to Texas, though.
Oh, man.
Like, yeah, if you don't take your allergy pills for like 4 days straight, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, that's everybody's question, like, for half the year here is like, am I sick? Am I really sick? I don't know if I'm sick. It might just be allergies. I might be sick, though.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone I know who gets sick is like, I think it's just allergies. And then the next day they're throwing
for like
up
a week
no.
while they spread whatever the...
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That is the other danger of allergies. So we were talking this week about 4 shows. We're talking about Easy for its final 3rd season on Netflix. We were talking Catch-22 on Hulu. We were talking Fleabag season 2.
And the final season of it, I believe.
Final season on Prime, which is too bad because, God, I want more of that.
Whoa, really?
And we're talking briefly about It's Bruno over on Netflix, which is not Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno.
No, I thought it was I'm Bruno. Is what this is.
Yep.
I also thought it was Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno.
I was ready to watch it with that premise.
Yeah.
Ironically, Phoebe Waller-Bridge that did Fleabag has another show, Crashing, that is also on Netflix. And I didn't watch the Davey Holmes Crashing for a year.
Yeah.
Because I thought, man, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's a UK show. It was great. It was fucking great.
All right, so let's dive in. Let's start with Easy, which I've seen all of it.
I've only seen the first episode of season 3. I've seen all of the rest of it, and it's just one of the best things.
And Kyle, have you watched much of Easy?
Yeah, season 1, I was a big fan, and then I missed season 2. I'm not sure why.
Oh, interesting.
But same with you, Les. I've just seen that first episode this season.
I figured that, Kyle, that you would really dig this show, partly because I know that you and I both love High Maintenance, and this does some of the same. I mean, Joe Swanberg, I believe, is the guy behind this, and I'm hit or miss on his movies sometimes because he is mumblecore genre. They're kind of ambling, go nowhere. Character studies, which either work or don't work depending on the characters. And Easy does that same kind of ambling vibe that
it does.
And that High Maintenance does, and it has that casual shared universe that High Maintenance has.
Well, and that's the thing. I didn't love High Maintenance the way you guys do.
No, that's what really. I love that you loved Easy.
I did not like the first season of Easy. I jumped around on it. I don't know if I've actually seen all the first.
I remember that.
I don't know if I've seen all the first season. I've seen bits and pieces. I now want to go back and rewatch it because when I went to watch season 2, I fell in love with it because I realized, oh, this isn't just like these little side stories. He's telling a story of like this community, all these characters. We see them drifting in and out of each other's lives, and we're going to follow them. It's just that instead of doing it over the course of a season, we're doing it over the course of like 1 or 2 episodes per season. We'll check in on each character.
Yeah, I feel like we got like 5 or 6 shows.
Yeah. 1
episode each per season. So there's been like 3 episodes of 5 shows or 6 shows.
It's a really weird method. And the one thing I will say about it is nobody else is doing this. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool, except obviously High Maintenance is kind of doing it. But
almost even High Maintenance does. I don't feel like structures quite like Easy does.
Yeah. Well, the first one, the one you guys saw, was Andy and Kyle, the open marriage with I forget who the actress and the actor are. I like both of them quite a bit.
He's Piper's brother.
He's Piper's brother. Yeah,
Orange is the New Black. That is
I know I've seen her in stuff, but it's they've been in an open marriage. It's been a little tricky. She's been having more success than him, which is not uncommon.
Well, in season 3, he's been having more dates.
Right. It's sort of flipped at this point, right?
Yeah.
and then she winds up in a relationship with someone who is not poly, and she's sort of enabling his cheating. And it's a fascinating character study. And I thought this was really interesting. I thought the emotional stuff was really real. And the other thing I like is that it doesn't wrap up in this first episode. Like they wrap story to some extent, but we see them. We'll go back to them throughout the season. I won't say too much about it, but there are episodes that are not focused on them, but that are. We'll see them pop up, and you're like, "Oh, that's where their relationship is right now," because we know what's going on, but nobody at this dinner party knows. We just know why they're tense at each other. And I like that a lot.
Well, I definitely found myself in that first episode, like just gripping my seat, waiting to get to the end because I was like, I need the resolution here. I need to. And then when it didn't resolve, I was like, no.
These people's lives aren't going to resolve.
They are definitely not.
Yeah, there's no.
This is my TV.
It's a life story. There's
Entertain me, television.
That said, I don't want to give away too much. There are some resolutions in this final season. Ricky Lindholm? No. Yes.
You got the first name right.
Yeah. What's?
I can't think of her last name.
Anyway, from Garfunkel and Oates.
Yes.
Her character gets sort of a resolution to the story that she's been in since the first season. The first season, she was sort of the guest star in a threesome episode.
Was that Kate Micucci?
Kate Micucci, thank you.
That's right.
Yes. Ricky Lindholm is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in the Orlando Bloom.
She's in.
I love that.
Yeah, she's in the three-way episode. That was my favorite episode.
Where
of the
they
first
all
season.
take turns taking care of the kid.
Yes, it was so good because it's like this is probably what a threesome's like. They seem to be having fun, but one of them has to go deal with the kid. And then the second season dealt with her, sort of like what she wanted out of life, what she wanted out of relationships, and if she wanted a kid and all that stuff. And this picks up with her as a music teacher and goes into sort of what she wants out of life, and now that she's getting older and how she wants to date. And it's a really sweet love story. Like, I really liked it.
Her turning up in season 2 and it following her and just the show casually taking on that she's a main character and not I just had assumed she would fade off, that Orlando Bloom and his wife would be the main character she would follow
and
forward.
we didn't see them again.
Nope.
Yeah. There's a character here who I feel like I haven't seen previously. In the second episode, there's a guy named Hugh who works at a spy store.
Yes, I'd started the second episode, and he's the one that gets the home assignment, but he's not really ready for, and I was like, who is this dude?
Well, I don't think we've seen him before.
I don't think we have.
And I don't think he turns up again in the season. So they're still mixing in, even in this final season, like, hey, here's a character, here's a side story.
I wouldn't doubt it if we watched Joe Swanberg movies for the rest of our lives and these characters turn up.
I love that idea.
Like Eric Stoltz from Jerry Maguire, also being from Say Anything. It's the same dude that throws the party and Say Anything.
Oh, that's pretty great. There's also there's another Mark Maron episode, which is really good. And there's the dudes who are running a brewery.
Yeah, and I love those. That's a great through line. I feel like if you didn't get into much else in the show, like Dave Franco. Is it Dave Franco?
Dave Franco.
Like, their brewery is just a lovable, and you get that squabble.
Well, and it's also got the girl from You're the Worst, who I love. I'm blanking on names today, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with me.
You got a tough day.
Cash?
It is Aya Cash. Yep. Aya Cash and her partner, I don't remember her partner, their business. But
I would say if you like that one at all, one of Swanberg's movies is Drinking Buddies, which it's a small brewery, similar thing. I think it's Olivia Wilde's in it. I think that's her.
But I really liked this. I thought the third season, I think this show got stronger in the second season, and I think it gets even stronger in the third. The only disappointment is, like Kyle said, it doesn't wrap everything. And I'm like, why do a final season when you still have more stories? There's so many more stories to tell.
Well, here's the other thing, too. This is the internet. Nothing's ever a final season.
Yeah, I think it's a hiatus until everyone involved is dead, and then they'll remake it.
Maybe they were just getting ahead of Netflix. Like, Netflix never renewed for season 4.
Right,
so we're just going to say this is our final season.
The Netflix season 3 theory.
Yeah, the season 3 theory, yeah.
Maybe they're going to go and create a new show called Hard. And it's going to follow.
It seems like a Showtime thing.
Yeah.
Maybe some Skinemax.
Yeah, Cinemax is
take it to a different network.
All right. Anything else on Easy, or should we move on?
I think we can move on.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to Catch-22.
So I'm the only one here that watched all of Catch-22, right?
Yeah, Colin and I both watched the first episode.
So I've read that book one time, and I was 18. I remember fuck all about it, except that it was doublespeak different from 1984.
Yeah.
Like, this was the Brazil level humor of bureaucracy. Like, you can't get there from here. You got to go somewhere else and start there. Like, just well, Catch-22. Weird fact about the book, it was supposed to be called, I believe, Catch-18.
Really?
Or a different note. I think it was Catch-18. And there was another book that had come out the same year. And the publisher was like, And so they changed the number because what does it matter? Only now it's a phrase totally independent of the book.
Right. We all know what Catch-22 means now.
And it's from, I mean, it is invented wholly for the book.
Yeah. I've never read the book. In fact, before this started, I assumed it was about the Vietnam War because Vietnam is where the notion of the military, the hurry up and wait, all the
Snafu
they don't know what the fuck they're doing, that kind of thing like that came in Vietnam. And to some extent, Korea. But World War II was like, that was supposed to be the good war where we were all fighting the Nazis together. And so to see this bit of like, oh, wait, no, soldiers kind of hate their jobs a lot of the time.
If this reminds me of anything, it's Joaquin Phoenix's Buffalo Soldiers.
Okay.
Which was a movie from the late 90s with Ed Harris and Anna Paquin and Joaquin Phoenix, where it's 80s peacetime where we were conscripting you could choose prison or military.
Right.
And so I think he's a car thief or something, but he takes military. And he is basically fencing anything. He's I don't know what his officer title is, but he procures shit for the base, and then he's fencing all of it on the German black market.
Yeah.
And also in with one of the MPs on cooking and distributing heroin.
Huh. Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And it's just this train wreck of like how much worse this is when these guys are bored and off. Like when you have this many trained people and nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
And how stupid it gets. But it's a different setup, but it approaches the same tone because like what's going on in Catch-22 is he flies his. I think it's 5 missions or 10 missions.
Yeah.
He's at 7.
Yeah.
I think, and they up it to 15.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets to 15, they up it to 20.
Right.
And by the time he gets to 20, they up to 20. Like, and this keeps going until it's in like the 60s.
Yeah.
And everything. I mean, like if he does manage to sit out a couple of missions, it gets upped in the interim, and he comes up with a couple of different schemes to try to beat it, and it doesn't matter. Like everything just gets, and it's all just bullshit. Like it's all just these. The namesake Catch-22 is specifically.
You can't get
thrown out for being crazy.
You can't get thrown out for being crazy because if you want to get thrown out, you're clearly not crazy.
Yes. Yeah. The sane response to this would be to try to get out of war.
Yeah.
So if you come and ask, you must be sane. Yeah. And like watching the doc explain it to him over and over is fucking great. But the show stealer for me, and y'all watched the first episode or two. Where it hooked me, I think, was the end of episode 2. I started to get an inkling because I had wholly forgotten Milo. I honestly couldn't tell you if he's accurately in the book or not.
Right.
In the show, Milo is this kid who's running. He's their scrounger, and if this were Great Escape, he'd be their scrounger.
Right. Sure.
And instead, he sucks up to Hugh Laurie's character and basically says, I could get you lamb chops all the time.
Yeah.
If you made me mess officer. And he's like, what? Like, oh, I know, I don't want to do it either. But then, I mean, he plays it up through the whole thing of like, when he takes the guy's position for mess officer, he looks at him and is like, hey, I don't want to do it either. Hey, what are you going to do? You go where they told you. Like, he made it happen, and but he just uses it as cover. And through the background of the show, watching Milo scam his way up into this just insane criminal enterprise, and like there's a couple of times where like you get an inkling in the background that it's like tenfold the scope it was last episode, and like he says something about coming back from Wales. You're like, wait, what? He shows back up with a tank, and like the fuck is that? Like, it's just nuts, and like the absurdity rises. There's that clipped Hey Caesar or oh god, what was the Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar? The comedy. Yeah.
That kind of comedy. What that was hearkening back to. And I feel like George Clooney was the right guy to do this show because I know he's got a love for that patter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Clooney's directing a couple episodes. I think he's one of the producers. He's also in it. Mm-hmm. Hugh Laurie's in it. Coach is in it. Like there's some notable but the guys who are like the main leads are kind of newbies, right?
Yeah, it's some unknowns. Like Kid Samson, I don't recognize.
Yeah.
Oh God, I think he looks like he's going to be 12 until he's 50. I'm serious. He's the littlest looking dude. And they name all these guys really quick at the start.
Yeah, that was the thing. As I
write
ran
their
through
names on the screen.
As they ran through it, I'm like, wait a minute, how many characters am I supposed to?
Yeah,
keep
and
track
I couldn't keep track of. Like I was like, the fuck. So it took me a minute to get into who everybody was.
Right.
I don't really like when shows start off that way because I'm like, obviously you want me to care about these people. That's why you're taking the time to put their names across the screen, and that's quite a few folks you just flashed up there.
That's what I felt like too. Watching that was the first stopping point for me on the first episode was like, okay, got it, yeah, okay, you're still going, okay. How many people are in this cast?
Yeah, like I think it took until like episode 4 or 5 of a 6-episode show before I knew Clevenger's name.
Yeah.
He's the idiot that raises his hand in the opening scene that's like, no, I know the answer to this one. It's a rhetorical question, man. Shut the fuck up. No, man, I know this one. Well, sir, I was thinking if you broke us into smaller groups. And it just cuts to them walking in a circle.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Well, I will tell you something that brought me back on that first episode.
Yeah.
Tell me this isn't just me being childish. There was a sex scene with some gray boobs in it. All right? I'm not just making that up, right? There was an audible gasp, and my wife was there too, and she gave me kind of this like affirming sigh, like, have this one. I mean, that's how good it was. It was, and then on Hulu too, definitely wasn't expecting that. Maybe some HBO. I'm just saying, Misfits season 1, that was the last time I saw something this good.
I hadn't watched I don't think I'd watched anything that was period piece really in a minute. I don't know really that stood out to me, but like this is the Paste White show.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I know that like there's people in another regiment somewhere, but fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are pretty pale.
I don't know what you do with that in
Although George Clooney's looking
2019
a little leathery.
At
the beginning of this.
Yeah, I don't know if they were putting makeup on him to play into this or what, but I forget how good a comedic actor that guy can be.
George Clooney's great. He's getting up there. He's got to be in his 60s, right?
Surely. I don't know. He's rich. He doesn't age like we do.
Right, exactly.
But for a dissenting opinion, if you aren't into that, like Hail Caesar, which I actually loved Hail Caesar, but if you're not into like this style of comedy, for me, I found a lot of the stuff just kind of building to no real crescendo. At least, there was a couple of like quick cuts, and we're about the scene at the beginning where George Clooney's kind of going around giving a monologue.
Yeah,
but the humor is kind of undercut by like. They were subverting this trope, the trope being the second somebody talks, oh, who was that? And then the drill sergeant like puts all their attention on him.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody was talking the entire time, and he couldn't hear any of them.
Yeah. I did the same thing of like, you're really letting this much crosstalk happen?
Yeah,
like drill sergeant?
What is going on? But no, I did feel that a couple of the jokes, like the payoff didn't really, it seemed like we took a long time to get to the top of the mountain, and then I got a little chuckle. I'm not saying it wasn't funny or they weren't trying to do something.
I felt something. I didn't fall in love with it, and there was so much else to watch. I did not get around to it. But hearing that Milo's Criminal Enterprise, that has me intrigued. And it's only 6 episodes, which means I might go back and
Milo's
finish it.
Criminal Enterprise is the reason to watch it, and it has one of the craziest deaths I've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing I'll say, it looks great. Like they did a great job on the World War II era costumes,
really
the bombers. Like
all out on this.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this actress in the first episode. Oh, wait, I think I did. Sorry.
All right, let's talk about Fleabag, which I think is our favorite show this week.
It may be one of my favorite shows of all time. Like, honest to God, I already love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Singular. She's spectacular. She's my favorite droid in the Star Wars universe. I loved the first season of Fleabag and Crashing. That said, the second season of Fleabag really took an almost what I would have said was a perfect show up a notch.
Yeah, it really did. And I love season 1.
This took my breath away.
This is better. It's better. It's just flat out is.
No, this is the definition of treasure because it's not just a good show, but it's something that didn't really like come to me through like I just found it one day. Like, it was just sitting there, and then you're like, holy crap, like, I rolled the dice on this.
Yeah.
And especially the very first episode of season 1, I'm just like, one of the all-time pilots, because it perfectly sets up the world, and then to get kind of the reveal at the end of, like, the situation that she's in.
Yeah.
Kind of the through line for every episode, even going into the second season. It's just a phenomenal premise. And, I know we're going to talk about this a ton, but the third wall breaks in this show are
the fourth
wall breaks are freaking like super tech.
It's like Jim from The Office, but as a British woman who's much more subtle and better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And she can do like break in, like that.
You know what? One of my favorite things though is when the priest is like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah, I saw someone online, an article or someone online pointed out how great it is that they took what is historically a narrative construct to separate your character.
Yeah.
Like, she's not really in it with the rest of these characters in this show. She's observing it and snarking at it from this safe space and make it a point of connection with another character instead.
Yeah.
Where it's the thing that makes him special to her, or it's not the thing, but it is
a thing.
It's a thing that connects them.
Yeah. She's like, wait a minute, you can hear
his
you heard that?
Neck. You just said my beautiful neck.
Yeah.
So you know why I think he can hear it?
Why?
And why they do that is because I think he is the only one who's paying attention to her.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
I think that everybody could hear it, but everybody's so focused on their own story and what they're trying to get from it.
She's used to running under the radar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. The character's name is Fleabag.
Yeah.
And
straight up.
In all the write-ups. Like
it took me a little while to get that. And
they never name her. Claire has a name. Yeah. Everybody else.
It's presented as if she's always the troublemaker. Like, she's the one. And you look at it, and the more you watch, especially this season, you're like, wait a minute. She's never the troublemaker. She's just the one who is like put upon by all these people who are so wrapped in their own lives, they don't ever take into account her troubles.
But it really is from her perspective and her self-loathing and level of blame.
Yeah.
Really affect how we see her. But you start to realize that in the second season, that the slow build of the first season where you realize why she hates herself to this level.
Yeah.
And the occasional snide after what you did remarks from a couple of people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then into season 2, you start to see that she's really given up some of her more self-destructive stuff, which was really understandable in light of everything, and is really just trying to get along at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the shop's doing great. She's really not fucking around.
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of got her – I mean, shit's not together, but –
It's together. It's more together than it was.
Together.
And she – separating herself from her family was good for her.
Yes.
And it was good for them. Yeah. And it kind of sucks that they go back together because it kind of ruins everyone. Like, no one's happy about that.
And I mean, and from the outset, the show, even in season 2, it still takes that swing for the fence approach to just jaw-dropping comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, making an amazing, poignant, funny scene out of the entire dinner and the lie and everything that they do.
Yep.
I don't want to. It's a comedy show. It's not spoiling shit, really.
Right.
But these jokes should land for people. Everybody should watch this show.
Everybody should watch the show.
Yeah, season 2 starts off just like with this incredible opening, which is Fleabag, and her face is covered in blood. Mm-hmm. And then it's like you have no clue how she found herself in this situation.
And who the girl on the floor is.
Yeah, and then like you pan down and there's a girl and she's covered in blood. And what's funny is building up to that scene at the end, which again, don't want to spoil it, but a million things went through my head as to how that blood got there. Like, you think it's so obvious, and then they show you another thing and another
Fleabag.
thing.
You have no idea where they might go with it.
Right, yeah, for sure. So, is there anyone playing a more interesting, loathsome character than Brett Gelman?
Oh my God.
I mean, I love to hate this guy because he's such a scumbag.
That is it.
You want to see him punch in the face.
But you want to keep watching. You're like, he is entertaining. Like, I know what he's doing is bad.
But he looks fucking dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
he seems dangerous.
There's 2 or 3 comedians where I'm like, man, I don't know if that's an act. You're so good at it.
Yeah, there's this edge where you're like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Desperation towards the end of season 2 when he straight begs her to not let his wife leave him.
What I kind of loved is this whole monologue. He's like, look, I'm a douchebag, but I'm not a bad guy. And I'm like, I don't know if we're supposed to be buying this or not.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting pitch.
But yeah, his viciousness, I mean, all of it from season 1, that the show never lets any of the characters off the hook.
No.
All of these things keep rippling out into their lives.
I also loved her in the bar with the woman. I don't want to say too much about it, but that was a surprising turn. And I love the through line with the sculpture.
Oh my God,
every time that sculpture turned up, I
that's the
died
reason
laughing.
that no one can skip season 1 for me.
Yeah, you have to see season 1.
Well, not only that, but there's this great scene in the last episode with who's the best? The stepmom. Love her.
Oh, Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman.
Man.
She's great here.
Where they're talking about the sculpture, and then she gets that reveal about the sculpture. Where again, I don't want to spoil it, but like. You think they've like done everything they can with this sculpture, and then they do one more thing.
Oh yeah,
and you're like,
and this is the depth of the writing. Olivia Colman's character is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like I want to hate her, but
Yeah.
she's not bad people.
Yeah. Well, there's a great bit where her dad comes to her and says, "Look, she's not everyone's cup of tea. Neither are you."
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good. Like,
That was a great-
the two of you you're at odds. Maybe she's a perfectly lovely person when she's not around you.
And we've never met the mom, but the dad keeps making like kind of cold-blooded blanket statements of like, oh no, all of the holy shit, what's wrong with you parts of your personality are straight up your mom.
Yeah. Remember that he may be relieved to be with someone who's just a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, can we talk about how Olivia Colman's a fucking chameleon?
Oh man.
Everything she's in, she's somewhat different. Like in Hot Fuzz, she's completely different. In Broadchurch, she's completely different.
I didn't even recognize her in this for a
I
minute.
didn't either at first.
And she's just got this open, amazing, beautiful smile
Sort
going
of
all the
hippie
time.
energy.
And then when she snaps, it's just like it's a non-sitcom version of Jenna Maroney from but Kimmy Schmidt. I blank on the actress's name.
Yeah, because she comes off.
yeah.
She comes off as this sort of friendly hippie mom, and
That
then
just snaps
and
into
then
rich
undercuts.
crazy.
Yeah, undercuts into sort of the ragey Karen.
They don't ever really say anything about the portrait,
No. Yeah.
but that's the one sitting, and she has her back to her, and then the portrait at the wedding is that one with Fleabag facing away.
Yeah.
Like, I painted your portrait, it's the back of your head. It's the most passive-aggressive, I made my own wedding present, and it's a fuck you.
I love the episode where they flash back to the funeral. I don't know if that was season 1 or season 2, but I felt like it was really good to see Olivia Colman like on that day, where the dad was still kind of more like team his daughters than with her yet. Because I do kind of see where it's like, oh no, she's gained a lot like in her relationship with him. So she's probably at a point right now where she's like, I don't want to lose this. I have something to protect.
When she's cold, like, you don't want to care for him when he's old and feeble.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
You may not like me, but you want me here.
There's so many like cut to the bone real lines in this in what is a really funny comedy. Also, we barely talked about the whole through line of her with the priest.
Yeah, that's like the main part of the
went
season.
Twists and turns that I did not know where they were going.
And he is a brilliant. I can't think of the actor's name.
That's the dude
who's
who
Moriarty.
played Moriarty in Sherlock. Yeah,
Which I like him better here. He was a little madcap for Moriarty for me.
He's fantastic here.
But he is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and every time I thought I had a handle on where this relationship was going, it would zig and zag. And I really liked that. And I thought I can't believe there's only 6 episodes.
Yeah,
because there's so much that goes on, and I can't believe the whole series is only 12.
Yeah, damn you, British.
Yeah, usually I'm all about the short seasons and getting conclusions, but man, I want more of this show.
I gotta say, maybe I've just been getting burned by all these other shows, but I'm like, I'm at the point now. I've watched a couple shows where I'm like, I don't want them to go on long enough to like ruin it. Like maybe this is perfect. Like,
maybe
maybe one more season she would have.
I think that's possible. I think it's probably a good point. Like
I think she's. I mean, I don't think it's because anybody stopped her. I think she wants to move to other things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Crashing is her baby in the same regard that this is. But if you want another 6-episode fix with her in it, Crashing is really wonderful.
Well,
it's
and she's
on
also
Netflix.
behind Killing Eve.
Yes.
Which we haven't
She has
watched
something
season
to do
2
with
of
it.
yet, I don't think, but it's definitely on my radar.
Well, I gotta say, with 12 episodes, she says so much. Like about being a woman, about being like about this character. Like I don't know, I just feel like every second of this show she just crams like more and more in. I don't know, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So going from the sublime to the ridiculous, let's close out with It's Bruno. Which I feel like I should apologize for inflicting on you, Burlesque, because you wouldn't have watched the show if I hadn't.
No. Netflix just kind of kept bringing it up, and I was like, "What are we talking?" I really thought it was a Sacha Baron Cohen thing for a minute.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I saw the little teasers for it, and it's like a guy in Brooklyn. Is it Brooklyn?
It's got to be Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just assuming it's Brooklyn, but like, where else could it be,
it's
right?
This dude in Brooklyn who has his dog named Bruno, who he just adores, and he like in the opening he eats a Hot Pocket, and his dog is getting fresh turkey and corn that he hand cooked and all this stuff. It's a guy who's obsessed with his dog. His dog has 3 leashes. He walks around in a like a jumpsuit.
I mean, the whole first 15. I mean, these are short episodes, like 10 or 15 minutes,
like
right?
short. They're like shorts.
The whole first episode is them trying to get more sliced turkey. I think.
Yeah.
For his dog, because his dog eats like sliced turkey every day.
And I was watching this while I had it on the background. Like I was working on some other stuff. I was doing podcast production. And every so often I'd look up and realize I was still watching the show and I still didn't know what the hell was going on. Because the show's about like he goes and this kid tries to kidnap his dog and then the kid starts dancing as his dad's playing music and the dad like backs him down. And all these characters show back up. The dance kid, like that's a whole running theme. The dog, the guy who he is like the rival dog walker thing with, that's a running theme.
I can see all the elements here for things I like. I mean, this feels like a Flight of the Conchords, Adult Swimish kind of thing. It's my brand, but this one's not my brand.
It's utterly ridiculous, and I did find myself watching. I think I watched like 4 episodes and was like, what is the point of this show? Is it just that this guy likes his dog? Like, is it supposed to be the wacky neighbors?
I think it's just sweet and silly and goofy.
I didn't find it funny.
But it's not funny to me, and the absurdity doesn't quite ride. I don't know.
I didn't find it funny. I didn't find it endearing. I didn't like any of the characters.
I like what it's doing, but I'm not enjoying watching it.
Yeah, it was definitely not for me. And it was. I was puzzled by it. I was like, this. I don't know what this is.
I feel like this is an established joke I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't. I don't want. I haven't Googled this. I wouldn't be surprised to find that this is like a 1 million strong YouTube channel I've never fucking seen.
It does feel like a web series. It definitely feels like that kind of thing.
Like I feel like maybe this has an established base that I'm just like
not a part of.
There's a bunch of 20-year-olds going, "I'm Bruno's the greatest thing that has ever."
I'm getting a John Wick prequel vibe from this. You know, guys spending way too much time with his dog.
Fucking turn. I just didn't watch it far enough. Like in episode 5, the dog goes missing, and then things get real.
The dog does get kidnapped, but
that's going to be the silliest training montage.
John
never.
Wick. I was going to say John Wick killed the Avengers. Don't put him after.
Bruno is definitely not a guy to take vengeance with his guns and knives. That is not Bruno's. That's not Bruno. That's whatever the guy's name is. I don't remember the Bruno's the dog. Okay, let's take a quick break. All right, we're back with listener questions. Now, every so often, I put up a Facebook post asking for questions. I've forgotten a lot. We've been recording on sort of weird schedule, but I remembered, and y'all came through for us, and we got some questions. So, first of all, Zach McLernan says, side question. If it turns out that the Mandalorian of the eponymous show is in fact Boba Fett, or related to him, is the show dead from the start, or is it still good? You guys have an opinion on this?
I don't. That show's going to be terrible.
That show's going to be great. It's Jon Favreau, man.
If that's going to be the reveal at the end of season 1, I'm thinking no, because here's the thing. Let's say they do that, all right?
Yep.
It's not going to be like a little Easter egg or like some side thing.
He'll take off his helmet and be like, I am Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's going to be like a big build to it, and they're going to like have to set it up and like seed it. And like, so yeah, I don't want the whole show to have to focus on that.
I mean, the Game of Thrones writers' room navigated those expectations of the last season so easily that I can't see what could possibly go wrong with the expectations behind The Mandalorian. Like, that's why I don't feel like this show could be any good. For me, it depresses my interest that it's Boba Fett. I really don't care about Star Wars, and I particularly don't care about that character.
Well, I don't think it is Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think they would rather leave the character nameless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like the expectation of it one way or the other sets up a burden from under which the show can't possibly free itself.
It's interesting. I don't know. I watched the little behind-the-scenes trailer that came out for one of the conventions that had Dave Filoni, who's the guy who spearheaded all the animation stuff, and who really seems like the sort of keeper of the Star Wars. and it had Jon Favreau, and it had Diego Luna. Is he the guy who's?
I think that's
no.
He's from Rogue One.
He's playing Cassian. Who is the dude playing? Oh, it's the guy who played the
Oberyn Martell.
Oberyn Martell.
Yeah.
And also was in Narcos.
Oh yeah,
I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he's really good, and I think he can lead a show. And a show about the sort of the scum and villainy of Mos Eisley and sort of the fringes of the Star Wars universe. I think that's a thing we haven't seen except a little bit in Solo. And is actually Solo holds out as one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Me too. I just didn't go over great with the fan base.
Same here. I love Solo.
So here's the thing. I have this feeling, and
Waller-Bridge, see?
And I could be wrong. I have this feeling that we're all going to like it. Now, whether or not
liking it almost certainly means it is not going over well with Star Wars fans.
That's the thing. I wonder if it's going to go over with the fans. And I don't know, to his question, I don't know that Boba Fett is the important part. Like, if he's Boba Fett or he's not Boba Fett, that's not going to determine whether the show lives or dies. What's going to determine it is it the show that managed to strike the balance of what Star Wars fans want and what Star Wars fans don't want, which changes by the fucking hour.
I fear that saying Boba Fett doesn't matter is going to be like arguing that the Laura Palmer murder didn't matter in Twin Peaks. Like with the rest of Twin Peaks going, no, literally we have 99% of a show that is not that death.
Yeah.
And all but that 1% is the only thing anybody.
Yeah.
And then there's no answer that can fully satisfy the fan base.
You know what the answer would be? Have Boba Fett show up and die. Have Boba Fett show up and have the Mandalorian kill him.
Right.
And then that's it. Like, there's no other Boba Fett. That's it. You've answered the question. He's not Boba Fett.
So
Boba Fett shows up.
The Mandalorian takes off a Sarlacc mask, and it's like, it was me the whole time.
You know Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, okay.
Because that was a lame death. Or you really double down on that, and people are like, Boba Fett's dead. But if you do that, people are going to be expecting you to reveal the whole time that he is not dead.
So you build to a whole end of the season where our Mandalorian, still unknown, is at a Sarlacc pit.
Yes.
And you think, oh, fuck, this is it. Your people have bad luck with sand pits. And you see another Mandalorian, Boba Fett, crawl out of the Sarlacc pit like, oh, my God, where did that Jedi fuck go? And our Mandalorian turns and shoots him.
Yeah. That's it.
So, Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit, and the Mandalorian solved. Because, if there's one thing Star Wars fans love, it's seeing all the tiny prequel answers.
People love prequels.
They love fan service answers, like where did Han's gun come from and how did Chewie... Didn't that go over great?
Yeah, people loved that. Okay, so Daniel Uvaldo says, hey, dudes, so question, what are your hopes from the producers of Game of Thrones, and is Star Wars really the safest bet for them? I didn't know. Grant set up our questions, and I guess Star Wars is the theme.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
When we found out Ben Affleck was going to be doing Batman. It's like, this isn't bad for Batman. This is bad for Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Do you think, I honestly think it is funny because they finally confirmed what had been speculated for years or speculated for a while. They're like, yeah, the next trilogy is going to be by Benioff and Weiss, and it's going to be Knights of the Republic. And they confirmed it on the day of the penultimate Game of Thrones, which was when those guys were at their lowest ebb of people liking them. And I think Disney miscalculated really badly. Like, okay, we're going to hit right at the big episode. We know this is huge.
Where Game of Thrones is the biggest anything has ever been.
And we're going to draft right off of that. And instead, the car in front of them crashed and burned, and they're drafting all that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can put all your chips in that basket, but you also got to be there when they turn up.
So
I ended up loving Solo, but I hope that they don't Lord and Miller this. I hope that they don't drop them over this.
I don't think they will. The question is, Benioff and Weiss, they were held up as geniuses or complete morons. And I think the truth is they're neither.
No.
They're solid genre. Have you guys seen Troy? The movie Troy?
Yeah.
No.
It's not terrible. It's not great.
But people with an emotional investment in the characters, that you're not making a fair call on good or bad writing.
Right.
There's some part of you that wants to see certain things, and I don't know.
So tackling a video game franchise that is beloved but has never been brought to fiction is probably perfect for these guys because they've never let down fan expectations.
I feel like they may be perfect for Star Wars because they are two of the most tested by fire, middle fingers up. Screw all 800,000 of you assholes.
Yeah.
We will make whatever the hell we want. And honestly, there are very few people on the planet that could stand up to the pressure of helming a Star Wars.
That's true. That's a reasonable point.
Watching Abrams just do it with aplomb has been whether you like his Star Wars, most people do, whether you like his Star Wars movies or not, Abrams has really kind of handled this gracefully. Like, fuck it, we're going to bring this trilogy of a lifetime in for a 9-movie landing.
Yep.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know. We're just going to have to see.
All right. Finally, Dennis McElwain wants to know, how disappointing is it that the new fantasy shows are going to be the prequels? The two that come to mind are Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones, I feel like the interesting stories to be told are the prequels. Like I want to see the Long Night, and I want to see sort of what this world looked like. I don't really want to go forward with Game of Thrones. I'm curious to see what Arya finds when she goes out into the west of Westeros. But I kind of think prequels are the right way to go, and I feel the same way about Lord of the Rings. I want to see it's like the rise of man, right? It's like the elves are falling off. It's like the forging of the rings, all that kind of stuff. I think.
Is that what they're doing on Amazon?
Yeah.
All the Silmarillion type shit?
All that stuff. And it's an era that's not been done before, and because it is the problem with the prequels in general is it's the Patton Oswalt problem. It's don't tell me you're going to give me ice cream and then give me rock salt and a bucket and just give me the thing. But I think in terms of both of these projects, we're not really going to get like, here's the story of the Lannister granddad. It's going to go further back than that.
Yeah.
And same with Lord of the Rings. We're not getting the story of here's Gimli's dad. We already got that with The Hobbit. It's going way further back, so it's essentially a different story in that world.
It's about the only way that you can solve the problem of knowing where your third act will be in a prequel.
Yeah.
Like, you can't set a prequel too close to the material I know, or the ending of your movie is already known to me as the beginning of the thing I love.
Right.
So, like, I know where everybody's going to land and who's going to live.
But if they were to do a Terriers prequel that showed Hank as a cop and Britt as a crook, I'd be all in for that. Just to say that, put that out there.
just saying.
Just to put that out there.
One last thing about Star Wars, I was having a brain fart a second ago, but I really wish that Disney would stop making like these announcements about like these trilogies that are coming out. Like, I wish they would just announce, we got so-and-so, they're going to make an awesome Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Like one single movie that's going to be so good, you're going to want 50
If we could
of
collectively
them
back
afterwards.
expectations down, it would help all of genre a lot.
But I think we're past that point.
Yeah, that ship may have sailed with
the
whole
internet
armada.
will not
the
allow
armada
it.
of ships may have sailed.
the flotilla, the space flotilla. All right. So that's it for us this week. You guys, if you want to support the show, you can go over to Patreon. Go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
Indeed.
Throw us a buck an episode. And,
Does it hurt?
You might get some bonus content sometimes if we don't record so late that we don't want to record any Patreon episodes. Sorry about that. We'll get back to it, I promise.
Sometimes we take suggestions on crazy-ass games.
Yeah. Sometimes we talk about what Maze Runner would be like if we had no idea what it was about.
Well, now that all of Marvel movies are done, that's over. So
Yeah, so I guess we're done with talking about that. Infinity or Endgame still has to hit on video, so Grant and I will tackle that again, I'm sure. And then, Les, I believe you have a show running right now.
I do. The Good Die Young. Thank you for reminding me. I would have forgot. The Good Die Young has started back up. This season we are covering Happy Town, and I am dragging Nick Tice through all 8 episodes of ABC's show Happy Town.
So this is the first time we promote this on TV Dudes. What is Happy Town?
Happy Town is a 2010 ABC show with this cast. Jeff Stoltz, MC Gainey, Jay Paulson, Abraham Ben-Ruby, who was Coob on Parker Lewis, Sam Neill, Francis Conroy, Amy Acker. God, I know I'm forgetting a couple of people. It is Steven Weber.
Okay.
Like it is one of the nuttiest. Peaceful small town, has not had any crime really idyllic in years. They had some kidnappings a few years back, and the kidnapping started up again.
Okay, all right. Comedy, drama?
Really, really going for a Twin Peaks vibe.
Okay,
like,
all right.
Suspenseful. Everything's a red herring. I mean, like, it ought to be a fishing show. Everything is a red herring.
Is it streaming somewhere?
Yes, it's on the ABC app.
Okay.
It does wrap in one season. They actually do tell you who the kidnapper is.
Okay.
It is done in such a way that it opens up 5 to 15 more questions than it answers.
And Good Die Young is your podcast for...
And so Good Die Young is my one season, one and done podcast. The greatest shows that nobody's ever heard of, like Happy Town. And last season we did Middleman, which more people have heard of. Happy Town. With Middleman, I love it beyond measure, and there's nothing wrong with it, and I'll fight you. Happy Town has problems.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, Happy Town is like a flaming train wreck on it's fucking amazing. But it is bug shit crazy. Like, it's like watching a writer's room where no one told anyone no. Nothing got pulled. Like, conflicting doesn't matter. Everything's in there, all of it at once, all the time. And so it was a different vibe to go through it this season. I really hope everybody digs it. The first episode came out Monday, this past Monday. And tomorrow, so Thursday of this week will be Andre Nemec and Josh Applebaum.
Oh,
who you've
love those
spoken to
guys.
before.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Who they co-created this show.
That's interesting.
Yep.
They wrote for Alias. They've done a bunch of great stuff.
Yeah, they've done a bunch of fun stuff. The Ninja Turtles movies recently, Ghost Protocol was also them.
Yeah.
So I believe next week I'm going to drop my interview with Scott Rosenberg.
Oh yeah.
Who wrote Con Air and Beautiful Girls, and
Rosenberg's all over Hollywood.
Yeah, he's a ton of shit. I think he was the first write on the Venom movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we talked to him. We talked to Jeff Stoltz. Talked to Davey Holmes, who wrote an episode and also used to be in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, because I'm a 90s ska nerd.
Sure.
Brian O., another one of the writers on the show. I'm really hoping as we roll that I can drag in a couple more cast members. Lauren German is also in the show from Lucifer.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and there's weirdly there's a character named Chloe, so in my head there's headcanon of this being a Lucifer prequel. Yeah, it's great. I really hope everybody digs it.
We have another show launching on the Electric Sweater Network, and that is Who Pods the Watchmen.
Yes.
This is Grant and Mike, I believe, going through, and they're getting ready for the Watchmen show to drop on
Spoiler,
HBO.
Grant likes it. Grant's going to like it.
Yeah, it's Damon Lindelof. I mean, it's going to be Grant's favorite show. But right now they're talking, I think they're going through the comics and some of the other stuff in the movie and some other stuff that lead into it. And they're going to sort of, do the lead up, and then they're going to talk about Watchmen. So
I'm excited. If anything bears a pick through, Watchmen is plenty deep.
Yep.
And then also I like what they're going to do with the show of it being different.
So find those guys on Instagram and Twitter. Follow them, give them a follow.
Yep.
Check out the show. It's going to be another great ride. And then finally, we want to talk about if you guys happen to be in Austin in a couple weeks for ATX TV Fest, and you should be, because it's amazing.
It is the best festival.
It's so good. Season 8 this year. I am super excited. It's always one of my favorite weeks of the year. We're heavily involved this year. We are throwing the TV karaoke party.
We are. The closing night party for badge holders on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right after the City on a Hill panel, or premiere, rather. You can walk over to the ballroom at the Intercontinental, and if you've got a badge or a wristband for Saturday, you can come into our TV-themed karaoke party.
Yeah, we've been working hard on this, putting together. I know Les especially has been working hard on it. And
we got DJ Vic Mackey.
And some surprises. And it's going to be a blast. So
it's going to be absolutely amazing.
And if you don't happen to be here, come to ATX next year.
Yeah, I'm actually I got Nick Tice to fly down from whatever northern land he's from, Wisconsin. It's some state. Yeah, so he's going to be down here for it as well.
All right, that'll wrap it up for us this week. Until next time,
the TV Dude's out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TVDudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.